welcome to another up close video. Today's one is for Tonic Showcase number 25, which is called Up, Up and Away, and from that name you can probably guess that this creates a fantastic three-dimensional hot air balloon that can be just like a home decor item if you want, but they've actually designed it so it is actually a gift box as well. The basket is actually attached to the bottom of the balloon part, and it actually makes it a usable gift box as well, but you can definitely make it into home decor too. And I have got two separate construction videos that will probably go out the same day as this one. One of them is showing you how to put the hot air balloon together but make it so that the basket is hanging from some twine rather than being attached to it, so it is more of a like a decor item. And then I've also got a second construction video using this die, which you can actually turn the hot air balloon upside down, and instead of putting the basket on the bottom of it, you put this piece on the top of it and turn it into like this really cool decanter. And past me later on in the video will show you the gift box version of the hot air balloon and also the full six-sided decanter. But in the construction videos, as I said, the hot air balloon is slightly different, and also the decanter, I decided to play around with it and change the number of sides that it has as well. So you'll see that sample later in the video as well. But let's have a look at the die set, and this month's showcase is a die set, a full A4 one, which you get in the popper folder with the A4 double-sided magnetic sheet, and you've also got an A6 stamp set that goes with it as well, and they're high quality photopolymer stamps like all of Tonic ones are, so they work really nicely whether you have a stamping platform or whether you just stamp with acrylic blocks. They're a really good quality stamp to work perfectly. So let's have a look at the die set first, and then I will show you all of the coordination between the dies and the stamp set as well, and we'll have a close-up look at that too. So to make your actual hot air balloon, obviously I run through this in the construction video. I don't actually show you the dies in the construction video, I just show you the pieces that I've cut out. But the dies that you actually use to create your hot air balloon, the balloon part, you're actually using this piece, which you will need 6 of because it's a hexagonal kind of gift box. You will also need this piece, which again you will need 6 of, and when you've put them together, this piece, it goes up this way, this will be where the basket attaches, and this piece will actually become the lid of your balloon. So it will be these two pieces that move apart that actually create the lid portion, so you can take the top of the hot air balloon off and put your gift inside. So that is to create the hot air balloon. And then for this piece up here, you're going to need something to secure all 6 of these together, so you've got a hexagon die in there as well, which is what you will use to stick all 6 side panels together. Then for the basket of the hot air balloon, you have got this side panel, which again you will need 6 of because it's hexagonal, and then you also have the base piece for the hot air balloon as well, and the glue tabs are on the base rather than being on the side panels as well for this make. But you can double up the base if you wanted to, it's just not necessary really, because the glue tabs are sticking to the basket rather than the side panels sticking to the base, because usually we sandwich them between to make it stronger, but it's not actually you know, you don't need 2 bases for this one, you can just do it with the single base. So that is to create the basket of the hot air balloon. And then you also have this die, which I briefly mentioned, that you will cut twice because it's a 3-sided piece already, and you can cut 2 of them, stick it together, fold all of these pieces in, and it creates a lovely pointy lid to go on the upside down version of the hot air balloon, which it then turns it into a decanter. And you can turn the decanter into it could be 6-sided, it can be 5-sided, it can be 4-sided. I didn't try 3-sided, but I reckon it could probably work. You've just got to create your own custom shape to go on the bottom of the box, but I do show you that in the construction video, how to turn this into a square to do the four-sided one that I show you how to do in there as well. So those are all the pieces that actually create the hot air balloon, and then you have lots of other panels that you can use to decorate all of the pieces as well. So I suppose the main two decorative panel pieces are these ones. So obviously you can just decorate it with your patterned papers if you want to, or maybe you've done some jelly printing or something, you can actually, you know, cut out something mixed media-y that you've created as well. But then you also get designs to go inside them. So for this kind of curved shape, which would be up this way and is part of the lid of the hot air balloon, you've got two different options for your patterns. So they would be up this way when they're on the hot air balloon. So you've got like curving lines, some little scalloped detail, lots of really good places for paper piecing if you love your paper piecing. And this one as well, up this way, it doesn't particularly look like much, but actually if you use this one up this way, there is actually a tulip hidden in there. And when you use these dies to create the decanter, it's the other way up, so you could pick out this gorgeous tulip design on your decanter as well. It would be sort of showing more towards the bottom of the box, as this piece is quite curved, sort of round. But if you wait till later when I show you the four-sided decanter, then you'll see you can actually see this part of the box more, so you could actually put these panels on and pick out that tulip design on there as well, and both of those will coordinate with the outside edge. Then you also have these two pieces, which on the box would appear up this way. So you've got, again, they're very similar kind of designs that would mix and match with each other, but this one's got a few gorgeous like diamondy designs in there, perfect for placing Nouveau drops or gems. And you also have these areas here that are perfect for putting your Nouveau drops on as well. And then you can see in this one probably instantly now, because I pointed out in this one, you've also got that kind of tulip design, and this would be up the right way on the hot air balloon, so you could definitely pick out the tulip design up the right way and up the wrong way if you wanted to on the hot air balloon. So you've got all of those gorgeous decorative panels. Then you also have these pieces here, which I didn't end up using, but you can actually place them probably on the top here is probably the best place to put them. And you can have extra detail to kind of go around the top of the hot air balloon if you wanted to add some extra bits and pieces, make it even fuller of a design, or maybe you want to add these to the base of the decanter to make it sort of stick out a little bit more and make it a different kind of design. And you also have this one as well. You can see they're slightly different to each other. This one's got more of a curved side and this one's more of a straight side, and this one, I mean, I guess this one is more designed to go further down the design and be more of a straight design, but you can definitely use that on like the bottom portion because it goes more with those straight lines that are on the bottom one. If I show you just the outsides together, you'll probably see better how they will kind of coordinate, and you could move this to whatever increment up or down you want it to be to add that extra pattern onto there. You don't actually get an extra pattern die for this one, so this would be a great one for adding in one of your like luxury embossed cards, or maybe glitter card, or you know, something like that that you wouldn't necessarily want detail cut out of. So those two would go together. And then if I show you, where did I put it? Put it back on here. This one as well, just with the outside, you can see how that would line up nicely. You could do it right to the top if you wanted to, or you can slide it down a bit further as well, and that would be this way up, so it would kind of hang and give you like an extra scallop design, and you have the pretty patterned panel to go inside there as well. So you could just use these as decorative panels if you wanted to and not bother with these ones, and then maybe use some of the other details to sort of go around this curvature as well around the balloon. So there are tons of different ways to decorate this balloon. I have done mine pretty simply. They're very like tone on tone, and my hot air balloon is rainbow themed, and I just did the pattern in the same colour as that colour of the rainbow going around. But you can definitely make them more striking with like bolder colours or contrasting colours as well with the pattern on the solid too. So those are all of those pieces. Then for the hot air balloon, you also, for the basket of the hot air balloon, you also have decorative panels to go on there as well. So you have this square panel which fits on the side of the balloon, and you also have this crisscrossy diamondy latticey design that you can put all of the way round. But you do also have some coordinating stamps to go with this as well, and for my ones later on I've shown you exactly how I have put the stamps onto here too, because I felt like the stamps were too small because I wasn't using the outside rectangle with them. I was stamping them straight onto the basket. I felt like the designs were too small, so later on I show you how you can kind of extend the sort of stamp design and make it fill more of the area of the basket as well. So you've got that panel to go on the sort of main side to the basket, and then these pieces here actually fold kind of backwards and then up again. So this little piece is actually stuck inside of the bottom portion of the balloon, but this sloping piece does kind of slope inwards. It kind of it's there to make the basket a smaller diameter to then fit on the bottom of the balloon, and you have a couple of different designs that you could use for this as well. So you could cut this one straight in and you'll get pierced detail on the actual basket piece, and you'll get a little aperture in there as well. And then you also get this one too, which will give you those 3 little apertures in there as well, to kind of, you know, simulate maybe that the heat is escaping from the hot air thing or something. But yeah, whatever you want to do with that. And also that one, you could use it to weave some ribbon through it and all the way around the balloon as well if you wanted to. But this portion of the box will be the place where the gift actually is. It will be within this basket and the bottom of the balloon, and then it's the top of the balloon that comes off to be the opening for it as well. So you've got all of those pieces. Then you also have this piece here, which creates like a little swag to go around the balloon. You can keep it plain with whatever colour. You've got stamps that coordinate with it, and you also have this little die that cuts out these little rectangles that goes inside it as well. And I'll show you an idea later. I haven't properly had enough time to finish any cards to show you, because I did 4 3D things with 2 constructions as well. But I have cut a few bits and pieces out that I'll show you later on for some ideas as well. So remember this kind of design. I think it's going to be a cool little idea. But you've got that lovely little swag that can go all the way around the balloon to add some extra detail. And again, this is a perfect place for adding your gems. You can put a lovely little selection of gems on there as well, and it looks really beautiful. You have also got a little gift tag which says "for you" in there, and then it's got little details that kind of match the hot air balloon above and below it, but you've got a lovely bold font of "for you" in the centre, and it's a lovely sweet little tag that you could use for anything else afterwards as well. Then you have these lovely pieces too, which create little fold over pieces of bunting. So the idea is that you can run invisible thread or just some thin like embroidery floss or cotton thread that you would sew with, or even your baker's twine and stuff. You run it through that fold line, and then you've put adhesive on both sides of this, and then you stick it together, and you know, it sort of encapsulates the thread so that they will kind of hang like bunting. So these are perfect for your cards for creating bunting, but also you can have them coming off the hot air balloon and like maybe coming from one section and joining to another section, again to make it look a little bit more elaborate if you want it to. Or you could just use them, maybe you want a little flag at the top of the hot air balloon, and you could put a little cocktail stick inside there if you wanted to, and then fold it either side. You could use these as little cupcake toppers as well, for, you know, a completely different project. You could use them on the top of a boat or something. Maybe you like folding paper boats out of you know, printer paper. You could have a little cocktail stick and have a little flag and put it in the top of a paper boat that you folded as well. So these kind of little dies are very useful for all sorts of different projects. So you've got those. Then you also have this gorgeous banner. I love this banner. It's got a really lovely swoopy design to it, and you have stamps that will coordinate with this, but the die that actually debosses into it says up and away. So you can actually deboss that in and have that as a sentiment on a card. You can put it onto the actual hot air balloon as well. And like I always say with these debossing dies, you can have a go at hot foiling with them, see if you can get them to work. I have got them to work in the past. I'm just saying see if you can get them to work because I haven't actually tried this specific one, but I know that they do work. Or you could deboss it into like satin mirror card, gives the best kind of effect, or you can just do it into a plain coloured card and trace the detail in there as well, or a plain coloured card that's nice and smooth, and then you can use your mousses over the top and that will really pick out the raised up areas so that the indented word will pop out nicely. And then finally in the die set you've also got all of the ones that you can use to decorate the decanter lid, and I didn't get a chance to try it, but I think you could actually just create that decanter lid and actually turn it into a weight for helium balloons. I say this quite a few times in different videos and stuff that I've done over the past however many years. Small little gift boxes like that are fantastic for making like little balloon weights with, and I think this one is a really nice kind of almost gem-like shape that would work really nicely for that as well. But you've got all of these beautiful little panels that decorate this one, and you've got a pierced sort of sided design, and you've got the two that match. You've got just the straight die cutting edge and the two that match, and then you've got the little stitches as well with the two that match, and then you can mix and match all of the details into whatever ones you want. So you've got this kind of pattern which is the same kind of design as that side panel to the basket. You've got this little one which looks very similar to the little swag that you can cut the detail into, and then these ones have kind of got portions of the hot air balloon patterns in them as well, so everything will coordinate nicely whether you're making a hot air balloon or the decanter box as well. So those are all of the actual dies, and then we have got the little A6 stamp set as well, which coordinates and gives you extra detail. So not only have you got all of those combinations that you can do with the dies, you've also got extra combinations that you could do with the stamps as well. And all of these triangles will so you've got the three different style of cutting edge, and you've got two extra designs in there that they would fit into. Then you've also got two little designs here that these would fit around. So this is the piece that will decorate the decanter lid. I think the dimensions are slightly different for the top of the... No, they are the same. That would work. So the top of the basket here, you could actually use, these dies would completely cover that, but you could actually stamp those pieces into the top of the basket die if you wanted to as well. So that would work. Then talking about the basket, you also have the rectangle that cuts out those two different designs that you can use to decorate the basket. Then you have that gorgeous banner which will coordinate with... Huh? Oh no. I wondered why it didn't match. I'm showing it with the cut edge up. If you put the cut edge down, then it will match with the stamps. And you've got a special delivery and let's go on an adventure as well. I'll show you these more up close in a second, but I'm just showing you the dies that coordinate. Then you also have two stamps that coordinate with the little swag die. So you can stamp onto those if you want to. You can stamp and colour. You can just stamp in a similar colour and do it like tone on tone. You can just stamp in black. You can heat emboss them as well. All sorts of different ways of making these look a little bit more fancy or a little bit more plain, depending on what kind of design you're going for. And then talking of those beautiful bunting dies earlier, you really can turn them into some gorgeous bunting by stamping on them. You've got three different of like the pennant designs there, and then you have three different of the little triangle designs as well. So you've got loads of options of adding your stamping to your box if you want to. There, you don't have to at all. You don't have to put any stamping on there at all if you don't want to, but you have all of the options there if you would rather do a bit of stamping onto your box too, which is really nice. And you can stamp directly onto the box as well, and if you feel like the pattern is too small, then you can maybe like repeat it a little bit, add some extra bits and pieces around it to kind of bulk it out, because when you're not using the die that goes around it, you see here, there's only like a couple of millimeters around the design to fit the die, but obviously that die is smaller than the space that is on the main die cut. So if I show you here, let me take all of these off so they don't fall everywhere. With that triangle in particular, so this triangle or any of the other two match that stamp perfectly, but if you then stamp it onto here, it looks really small because it's designed to go with this die. So you can doodle some extra designs around there, you could add Nouveau drops all the way around the edge or gems or anything like that to spruce it up a little bit and make it look a little bit more of a fuller design. And past me later on will show you just how I repeat stamped this, and I've got a cheats way of being able to do it to get it in exactly the same position on all of your panels, so it all matches when you put it all together as well. So those are all of the dies that coordinate with the stamps, and then I'll show you them all up close so you can see the gorgeous detail that's in those stamps as well. And you've got this gorgeous one here, you've got lovely little diamonds in there. These are the ones that would fit on the slanted portion of the decanter lid or the slanted bit of the basket. You've got all of these ones that will go on the bunting dies. You've got these two that are the main sort of basket ones. You've got the special delivery and let's go on an adventure. And then you also have 5 extra sentiments. You can see I used the thank you on one of mine. You've got enjoy the ride, thank you, thinking of you, just for you, and sending you lots of love. So you can personalise this or theme it to whatever kind of occasion you want to as well. So I'll put all of these away and I will pass you on to past me to show you the two fully constructed, like full 6-sided decanter and actual gift box of the hot air balloon as well. So these are the 2 samples that I've created with this fantastic showcase. Obviously you've got the hot air balloon, which is what the main thing kind of is that it's designed to create, but you also get the die that I've pointed out earlier to turn it into like this kind of decanter, or almost looks like some kind of potions bottle, or I don't know, it looks a little bit sort of spaceshipy to me as well. I'm not really sure what it could be, but it could be anything really. You could turn it into so many different things. And I also think that this one looks like a light bulb. You could definitely turn this into a light bulb as well, which I think would be a really cool idea. So I think it's a really nice kind of like versatile for creating different more like decoration ideas. And I didn't have enough time to film a construction before I needed to post these off, so I only just sort of made them so I could show them to you, but I die cut everything ready, so hopefully I will have 1 to 2 construction videos depending how long it takes me to put them together, and I might actually alter them. So this one is 6-sided to create this decanter, but I think you could definitely turn this into 5-sided or 4-sided as well. So that will probably feature in my construction video for the decanter. And then also for the hot air balloon, I really want to have a go to make it more of like, I mean at the moment it is a gift box, so you can put stuff inside this, or it can be an ornament that can hide something inside it, but I really want to turn this into more of like an actual decor item and make the basket so it's hanging from string as well, so it really does look like a hot air balloon too. So I think in the construction video I'm probably going to show you that idea, but I will show you how to attach the basket to the bottom of the balloon as well, because they already have the glue tabs there. It's literally just a case of sticking it inside the hot air balloon. So I wanted to show you both of these obviously before I post them. I have gone a little bit crazy with the gems just because I felt like they just needed like extra touches to finish them off, and I did also draw my own little sandbags as well to put on this one, because I'd added white elsewhere. I felt like it needed a little bit more white to balance it, so I decided to just draw some little sandbags. It's basically like a water droplet with a little bobbly thing on the top, and then I wrote sand in the middle, so they're really easy to draw if you do want to draw one yourself. or you might even have some kind of die in your stash that you could turn into like a little sandbag as well, to add that kind of different element to it. Also, I wanted to kind of show a slightly different way of adding the coordinating stamps to this bottom portion as well. So I will have shown you earlier the coordinating stamp set that you have to go with this, which Tonic are kind of bringing out every now and then recently, which is really nice. But I didn't want to add the separate panels onto my basket. I wanted to have the pattern straight onto the main panel, but because of the way they designed the stamps to go with the die set, if I had just stamped this kind of basket weave sort of pattern onto this panel, it would just be a little tiny rectangle really floating in the middle, which would have looked a little bit odd. So I decided to repeat stamp it all the way around, and the way I did this was, I have the other ones in my little pot here because I've obviously already stamped them ready for my construction video, but the way I did this was I took the waste of one of these, so I've die cut loads of them out and I've got like the outside edge from them as well, and I put that in my Tonic stamping platform, and then I placed the piece back in. I lined up thank you onto this section, and then I placed the basket kind of design in hanging over this edge, so it was the sort of, you could do it in the middle if you wanted to, but I quite like the offset kind of idea of it. So I put it slightly offset, but so that this harsh line was hanging off the edge and it wasn't going to stamp. Only that one harsh line in the middle was going to stamp. Then I used the Acorn Brown Nouveau ink pad, and I just switched out. Obviously I was doing this on 12 of them, so I just switched out the die cut as I was stamping them. So you stamp one. Actually, do I still have it in my... I do actually. I left it in there so I could show you, I forgot that. So this is how I did it. I lined up where I wanted it, and then I put this in like this, and I stamped this first stamp and the thank you on all 12 of the pieces because I was doing enough to make 2. And then I took the stamp and I took the thank you off because I'd finished with that, and I moved this one over, and you can, because they're clear stamps, you can actually see how to line it up to get that last line to overlap. So I did that and then lined that up again, and then I could just replace all of the 12 back into this after each other and stamp the second piece as well. So you get the perfect join in the middle, and you get that continuous piece that's going to be at the exact same level on all of the pieces, so that when you put it together it's going to be continuous going all the way around. Because if you had hand stamped it, I don't think you would, I don't think even after all my years of stamping, I don't think I could get that exactly in the same place all the way around so that it completely lined up. But doing this method just makes it so much easier. And usually when I do this kind of thing, I stamp the stamps first and then line up the aperture around them. But with this one, because you haven't got like the score lines indicated on the aperture, I did actually just place the aperture down first, then put my piece in there, and then line up the thank you and the first basket stamp onto the actual die cut. It was much easier to do it that way. But when you're placing the second stamp onto there, if you don't want to clean off your stamp and everything, you can then use, if you stamped one stamping of these two pieces onto the backing paper first, you can then use that to line up the second one, and then you can just place your die cuts back in and keep stamping. So hopefully that makes sense. I'm glad I left that there so that I could show you, so it makes a little bit more sense. So that's a really great way of, if you want to use these stamps with the dies, you can get everything lined up perfectly. And like with these pieces, if you wanted to use the stamps onto these pieces, especially if you were going to stamp onto the textured side of Craft Perfect, you could keep the negative piece that you die cut it out of, and you could do the same idea of recessing it back in and then stamping the design on. And for this one, you could definitely stamp the design onto the scrap paper first. So put the stamp in your stamping platform, pick it up, stamp it onto the scrap paper, and then line the aperture up around the stamp, and then you can place the die cuts back in and keep stamping on them as well. That would definitely be a great way of getting loads of these stamped perfectly too. So definitely think about that if you're doing something like this where you have like 6 of the same things going round, or you know, you want a continuous pattern all the way around. That's a great way of getting all of your stamping perfectly lined up with hardly any effort at all. So that's how I did the basket, and then I wanted obviously to do a rainbow hot air balloon because I just love the look of rainbow hot air balloons. I know usually, I mean, a cartoon rainbow hot air balloon would probably look like this, just with the solid panels going round, but if you actually look up rainbow hot air balloons, obviously because hot air balloons are so enormous, they're in way more panels, and they often have lots of sections because obviously they're made of silk. You can't get enormous pieces of silk really, you kind of have to stitch it all together, and it probably makes it better for filling up with air and everything. But they usually have like a panelled, maybe sometimes diagonal kind of pattern going around them with all the different colours, so it repeats a lot more around the hot air balloon. So if you did have the patience to do that, you could definitely try and like, I was thinking you could cut like a panel in half. So for example, if you had the yellow and the green, you could cut a green one in half and put half onto this yellow panel, and then the yellow panel would repeat on the other side, and you could put the other half of the green panel round there, and you could have the rainbow coming round twice. So you'd end up with, okay, so that was a bad example doing that maybe, or no, I suppose. So going round the balloon, you'd end up with this being yellow-green, and then this one would be blue-purple, and then pink-red, and then yellow-green would then be opposite the yellow-green. So you could have the rainbow repeating twice around it as well. If you had the patience to do that, that could be done. That could be a way of doing it if you wanted more rainbow. But I do think it looks quite nice like this, just having the single sort of rainbow colours going around. Colour-wise, I think this was Chilli Red, Marigold, Grass Green. I can never remember the name of this. Maybe it's Cornflower, this one. I think this is possibly Amethyst. And then the pink, I think the pink is Fuchsia. I will link all of these colours of card down below though, so that you can get this rainbow effect if you want to as well. But I do really love this kind of a look. And I decided to use a red hexagon in the centre as well, because you have to kind of pick one colour. I feel like when you do have, well, what I'm thinking of is those parachutes that you used to play with when you were younger, when you have like a group of people and you do that thing where you like sit with it underneath you and it makes like a big giant balloon. I'm sure the centre was always red, so that's kind of what I was thinking about putting this one together. Then for the decoration, I wasn't originally planning on using these pieces because I thought, oh, if it's all rainbow, you know, you won't need much else to do with it. But I felt like it was looking a little bit too plain because I'd done colour on colour. I cut all of the panels from the solid ones from the colour, and then I cut the intricate design from the same colour and stuck them on top of each other. I felt like it was looking a little bit too plain, so I decided to go with white for these little banner pieces. You can put these anywhere really. I decided to put them here, and I stuck the two circles together for each of them because they have like a little circle design on them there, and then I stuck the heart over the top. But when I show you how to construct one of these in the construction video, I might change that up as well. But you can definitely put them lower down. For example, on the Decanter one, I put them up the other way because that's sort of the design, but I put them sort of overlapping this, so they're actually out further than this curve for that one. So you can definitely move them down. You could maybe even have a couple of them if you want to. You've got different panels as well in the die set that you will have seen earlier that you can place onto either of these two sections to give an extra scallopy kind of design to the balloon as well. Depending how elaborate you want to go with your design, you can definitely add to that too. And then I decided to back them with black, and then to match the white and black that I'd used here, I put a little collar of white card around here and then a skinny strip of black. I've done the little sandbags in white and black, and I also did the thank you sentiment on the top using white and black as well to kind of tie that in all the way down the balloon. So that's kind of my thinking when I add a decoration. I'm like, okay, I've added that there. Now everything else looks a bit off because, you know, you haven't got the same colour. So repeating that down the actual design a few times helps it all sort of go together a bit better. And having the white and black goes really nicely with all the rainbow kind of colours. And you're probably wondering, how does this work as a gift box? Because that just looks like a hot air balloon. And you'll notice that the lid stays on as well, because you put magnets in it. Now inside both of the top and the bottom of mine, I have actually put sellotape in there, just because I knew this was going to be travelling in the post and stuff, and I wanted it to definitely stay together. I used red liner tape to stick all of this together, so you know that's pretty strong kind of tape. However, it's been hot recently, so I wanted to put sellotape in there just to make sure nothing was going to pop apart as it was going in the post or anything. But you could definitely put washi tape in there. You could die cut an extra of these side panels, cut off the glue tabs and then stick it over the top as well to hide them, or you can just leave it. It doesn't really matter. I don't think it looks too bad, especially from a distance, and if I didn't have the shiny sellotape on there, I actually quite like the look of that. It almost looks like some kind of jigsaw puzzle with all the pieces. The little glue tabs, they kind of look like a little jigsaw sort of puzzle, and then you've got the same on the inside of the lid as well. And then to make this go together, you have the magnets on here. So you want to pick opposite colours, so I just decided on the red and pink, and I've stuck one magnet inside on either of these. Then to get the magnets in the right place, I'm sure I'll go over this in the construction video, but to get the magnets in the right place, you then take the other magnet of each of them and put them on here, so that you know that the poles are the right way around. And then you put a little bit of red liner tape on the other side of each of those magnets, and then you carefully put your lid back on. And then when you do that, I think the first time I did it, only one of the magnets grabbed onto it and the other one hadn't quite grabbed on. But once you've put that on there, you can just like gently press, and then even if they're not completely grabbed on, you can then pull the lid off and then press them a lot firmer on the inside as well. And I'm sure you could actually get them to stick in different places, like so the magnets are holding that in place there, but I could possibly push that down even slightly more, so it's not like 100% set in stone where the actual magnets need to sit. But if you want to have a look, if you struggle with that kind of method, I have stuck them in the centre, and then, you know, a decent sort of distance from the top and bottom of that little score line piece on both sides, and then on the top of it you've gone trying to keep it in the centre, and then should I measure it so you know exactly how far up I've put them in, just in case you want to do it that way. So from the bottom of the magnet to the bottom of like the tallest bit of the curve, that is 3 centimetres. So if you did want to just stick your magnets in and not faff around with trying to get the right placement, that's how I put mine in. But if you're using the red liner tape, actually, if you did get it in the wrong place, you can actually just like pick them off and move the red liner tape. You might get a little rip in the cardstock on the inside, but it's not going to like rip all the way through to the front. So you can definitely move them if you need to as well. And depending on which, yeah, see mine's not going to work, but depending on which way round you put the magnets, if you manage to get their poles right both ways, you can actually switch the lid around. So if I had got the poles right on mine, I could have switched it around so the rainbow switched, but I don't, yeah, it's not going to stick. I must have, so one of these must be north pointing out and one of them must be south pointing out, so they don't actually quite stick together. I did the same thing on my decanter as well. I didn't even think about that before, but I suppose it means that the lid does only go on one way to make it perfectly rainbow all the way around. But I do actually like the look of it being off as well. So if you did get your poles the right way round, I think it would look nice to do it like that as well, and have it offset with the different colours too. I think that would look really lovely. So you could definitely do it like that as well. But that is the way that that one goes together. And then for the decanter, you can see, if I hold them this way, you can see how different they look. But if I turn them this way, you can see that the only difference is this part. So on this one, this is the base and this is stuck to the balloon. But with this one, you can do it different ways actually. You could definitely stick this to this piece so it's the same, and this would open by lifting this whole piece off, and imagine that's the pointy part, it would open like that, and that would be your gift box. But as I'd already shown you that kind of way of doing the mechanism, I wanted to show you a different way of doing it. So this one, I actually took these pieces here, there's a bit of foam tape inside here, and then there's also some red liner tape here, so I actually stuck those pieces round to hold the box together. And then for the lid is magnetic, so I've put magnets on here again, to make that lid magnetic so that it stays on really nicely. But you definitely could have stuck that on and had the opening the same place as the hot air balloon as well. And you can see inside here how lovely that is. It just depends what gift you're going to put in there. If you wanted to put something bigger in, then you'd obviously want to make this the actual opening, so you could put a larger item in there. But I'm thinking just dump a box of like celebrations in there. It's quite nice to then have to like tip them out of the small opening, and it would make a really lovely gift for somebody. Or you could put chocolate truffles in there, you could put small little wrapped gifts in there as well. You could do this as some kind of like advent calendar if you wanted to. I mean, I know it's very early to be thinking about Christmas, but you could do some kind of advent calendar and maybe make this green and it would look more like a Christmas tree as well. So you could definitely think about this for Christmas time too. And I do definitely think that this one would work really nicely as a light bulb, and you could do, for this bottom basket portion, do it grey, draw some lines going around it so it looks like the screw thread of like an Edison screw light bulb, and then if you, I don't know, you might be able to, yeah, no, actually, if you cut the detail into the main panels and did it from like, I don't know, the yellow luster pearlescent card or something, you could then back the panels with the new gold pearl vellum, and then you could have like a twisted bit of metal inside there to look like the element, and you could see it through it, and then maybe put fairy lights in it as well and hide them in the bottom section so it would light up like a light bulb as well. That would be a really cool way of doing it. And because you have this like solid section at the bottom, you could have the battery pack accessible as well for changing the battery for the lights and things. So I definitely think that this would work fantastically as a light bulb. But going back to the Decanter one, the lid is really easy to put together, and the way I've done the magnets for this one, so because the way the lid goes together, there's actually like nothing in here, it's just the sloping sides of it. So to get the magnets to actually sit in there to be able to work the same sort of way as the top of the hot air balloon goes on, I've put the magnets inside the opposite two lips again, but then on the inside of here, if I'd put the magnets up there, they weren't going to touch those magnets at all. So I just took two little scraps of cardstock that I had left over from the same colour, and then I've literally just stuck the magnet on the opposite side of them, and then I've just made it so they sort of flip in like this. You sort of push them up like that, and then you can put the lid on, and then the magnets will pull themselves together, and then that lid is firmly on there as well. So I thought that was quite a nice way of making that little lid magnetic, and I'm sure I'll go over that in the construction video as well, so do make sure to look out for that. I don't know at this point if I'm going to do one for the hot air balloon, one for the Decanter. I would presume I will do, because I think they're going to be relatively in-depth kind of ones, and you might want to be looking for one construction over the other. So I think I will do them as separate videos. So there should be 3 videos up this month for this showcase. But yeah, hopefully it will kind of help you with how to put it together if I do a construction as well. But I do think this one in particular would work really nicely as a pentagon or a square as well, because as I was putting this piece together, and also when you're putting a hot air balloon together, you'll see as you're constructing it, they do actually want to curl into each other. So, you know, going to a smaller diameter of sides, the angles were actually kind of working for sticking it together further. So you're just sort of taking one panel out to make it 5-sided, or 2 panels out to make it 4-sided. We might have to do a little bit of fiddling to get bases and things to work, because we won't have like the little hexagon to go on the bottom, but we will come to that whenever I do the construction video. So I hope you like this gorgeous little Decanter, and I hope you like the hot air balloon as well, and future me will be back to show you whatever we have ended up making in the construction, so you'll know if you want to go and watch that and see what kind of project I've put together for that as well. Oh, and actually, I just thought I'd mention here, these little panels, so you do actually get a die to decorate this piece. You've got different options for different patterns, but as I was cutting these panels out, I noticed this section that falls out is that kind of parallelogram-y, no, it's a trapezium, isn't it? Not parallelogram, kind of shape there, and it fits perfectly in that little panel, and then I just stuck a golden oval gem in the centre of it. So, you know, think about the waste pieces just to decorate these panels to save a little bit of card or a little bit of time die cutting as well. And for this one I did decide to keep this portion just blank, and I really like that actually. I think it gives a nice offset kind of design of this being really fancy at the top, and then it's kind of plainer at the bottom, and then you've got this focusing of gems here using those little arched pieces, and it kind of disguises the fact that it's in two halves. I feel like this piece kind of really makes it all come together as one, because it sort of hides the join and makes it look more intentional with those actual pieces going around as well. Anyway, yeah, so I'll pass you on to future me to show you some more examples, hopefully some cards as well, maybe, if I've got enough time, and finish off the video and everything as well. So I hope you enjoyed seeing those two samples, and then these are just the little bits and pieces. I'm sorry I didn't have enough time to make some actual finished cards, but I wanted to show you just a few different ideas that I'd thought of. And this die, when I was cutting it out, does that not remind you of the Cheshire Cat's grin from Alice in Wonderland? And I just thought if you sort of offset a white and a black one together to kind of give an outline, and then put them onto like some circle tags, and maybe coloured these with pinks and purples, maybe gave like the stripy effect of the cat coming in, and then did it as a little tag. I think an Alice in Wonderland fan would find that amusing, having that big grin on there. And you could even put like googly eyes and try and draw his actual face around it as well. But I was thinking more of like an abstract kind of Cheshire Cat. I'm kind of annoyed I didn't get a chance to finish it, but I wanted to still show you the kind of beginnings of the idea, basically, in case you fancy taking that further and finishing it off. But I just thought that looked like the Cheshire Cat's kind of grin. Then I wanted to show you the aperture of that gorgeous banner, because the aperture looks just as fantastic as the actual die cut, and you could definitely use the aperture on a card and have stamped that design. So you could cut the aperture into your front panel and do whatever else you're going to do on it, and then you could add the actual stamp design behind it, maybe even make it a shaker in front of it, have multiples of them coming all the way down the card, maybe do them in individual shakers in different colours, and have the different sentiments behind them as well, or just have nothing behind them. I just really loved the aperture of that banner as well, so I wanted to you know, show you a die cut one, so maybe it'll spark an idea for something that you might want to try doing. So I thought that was really cool, and I have cut one of them out as well with the up and away inside them, and you can see how beautifully deep that kind of debosses into there as well. And I mean, you can definitely still see that even from far away, you can still read it. So even from white card, they do look alright. You can definitely read them. Definitely if you're giving it to someone in person. Maybe if you're if you did it white on white and then it was on the telly, you might not be able to see it from that far away. But in person, you can still see that debossed image or sentiment on there as well. So that's the up and away. And then I wanted to obviously show you how you can use those beautiful patterned panels on your card as well. So this is that beautiful tulip one that I have die cut up the top here, and then I use the other one and die cut it up the other way. But you could definitely do this with the more rounded topped ones. You could have this tulip one and do it this way and do multiple tulips along here, or you could do tulip up one way, tulip up the other way, or you could bring both dies in. And actually, if you cut them, oh no, they would then still be up the wrong way from each other, but you could cut one of the straighter ones, one of the curvier ones. You could have used that curvier one there as well. You could do, I mean, you could do them like that as well. It might look a little bit weird with the shape. Maybe stick to all the same one if you did them across. Or, you know, you could do them across this way, maybe have a full one in the middle and a half one either side. You can actually cut these panels out and use them onto your cards as well. But I think using them like this, again, it kind of, as I was saying in a previous video not that long ago, it kind of disguises the fact that they are a panel to go on something else. Using them like this rather than having it be like a panel like this shape, it kind of makes it look like it's definitely a die that you've bought for card making rather than a die that's off a 3D die set. Not that it matters if things look like that, but I just feel like it's quite nice to be able to take a die from a 3D die set and make it look like it wasn't from a 3D die set. Oh, and also I forgot to mention as well, I might have actually mentioned it, past me might have shown you that actually on the other ones, but this little piece here, you can actually use that to decorate either that sloping portion of the basket or the smaller section on the decanter lid as well. You can actually use that little piece to decorate if you want to too, because it pops out when you cut the design in there, or the one off of the curved design as well with this tulip. So I just wanted to show you a couple of rough kind of ideas of using these for card making, but I'm pretty sure you're going to be wanting to make quite a few hot air balloons before you get bored of the die set and want to make some cards from it. So I think it's going to be a fantastic one. And actually, I don't know if you could do it. I mean, I guess just like that, it would actually look like a hot air balloon. And maybe just using, what about one of the stamps? Would one of the stamps work? Oh, it would actually. Or maybe this one even. You could actually use this stamp here, because it kind of looks like the basket, and then the weights would be hanging off of those frilly bits on there. You could use that stamp to make a little shallow basket for this hot air balloon, and you could just use it like that to be a hot air balloon on a card, obviously with the outside edge cut into it as well. Or you could make it have a really big basket and use this one. But yeah, you could actually just use that directly onto your card and make it a coordinating hot air balloon to go with your hot air balloon gift box as well. So you can definitely do that too. So I just wanted to show you those bits and pieces because I didn't have a chance to do any sort of finished ones for you. And then these are the other two that I made that will be in my construction videos. So if you want to see how both of these were put together, or you just want to see in video form how to put the hot air balloon together rather than following the instructions that should come in the packaging, there will be construction videos up on showing you how to make both of these. And I did alter this one, so the ones that past me just showed you, you will have seen me taking the lid off, but if I try and take the lid off of this one, I attached it so the whole balloon is attached together, and then I have just hung the basket underneath. And in the construction video I show exactly how and why I decided to hang the basket like I did, because I've done it on a way that it doesn't matter if one string's longer than the other, because it's all the same string and you can just twiddle it around. But I think it just makes the perfect little home decor item. You could hang it off a curtain pole, you could put a loop on there and hang it off the corner of a bookshelf or underneath a bookshelf, all sorts of different ways. And if you want it to stand on the bookshelf but you like the idea of having the swinging basket, you can just place that back on there, and it doesn't matter that the string's poking out the side, it will still sit on a shelf like that, but you have the ability to pick it up and then the basket will swing as well, which I think is a really cool idea. So this one I made look practically identical to the one you've just seen, but I haven't put all of those like black and white decorations on it. I decided to just keep it purely gorgeous rainbow with these little heart gems on, but I have done the basket in exactly the same way. And I should have just shown you how to get that stamping perfect on the basket as well. And then I also did a construction video, and I decided to do it as two separate construction videos. I don't think this one's too long actually, but I did it as two separate ones in case you weren't interested in how to make the decanter. But I have done it as a four-sided little decanter, and I have done it so that that is the only way to put your gift in there. But I do think sweets is a great one for this, because like humbugs or sherbet lemons, or, you know, something like that, you know, individually wrapped boiled sweets would fit really nicely in this, and then you could just tip them to get them out. So I think that would be a cool idea for a gift inside of this as well. Or even like maybe even nuts or something you could give somebody, like possibly walnuts would fit in there, or, you know, just something like that that would be a sort of snacky kind of gift that you could then tip them out of the box as well. But the main reason I created this one again in a smaller format is because I wanted to see if you could turn it into a smaller sized box. So the one you will have just seen looked exactly like this, but it was six-sided, and this one is four-sided, and I just created my own little square base, which I show you how to do in the construction video. And you can see here what I was mentioning earlier, this panel. So if you did want to decorate this with the tulip design, it will be up the right way, but the one with the curvy top will be up the right way, and because of the way this one is only four-sided, it brings the sides closer together so they're not as bent round the bottom. You will actually be able to see that whole beautiful tulip design. So you could definitely put that on there, maybe use your alcohol pens to colour it in or paper piece it in, whatever you want to do. And you could pick out that actual tulip design as well. Maybe even make this four-sided like this without the lid and get some artificial tulips and put them in there, and then it's like tulips and then you've got tulips inside them. Or make some tulips. I don't know if I've seen a tulip flower die set. I'm sure there is some out there on the market, but you know, you can make your own tulips to come out the top of it, and it could be a little artificial tulip vase for somebody as well. So loads of different ways of turning this into other things. And as I said in my construction video, if you've already watched that, doesn't it look like a skittle? Like a bowling skittle. You could make 10 of these and it could be like a game for the dining table or something, because they're so lightweight it wouldn't matter if they sort of fell off onto the floor as someone bowled a tennis ball towards them or something. You could actually do it as a little game of skittles for someone. Maybe not do them as such an elaborate design, but you could maybe personalise them, members of the family or something. You could make them look a bit like them, or be their specific favourite colour, or have something to do with them that they, you know, a hobby that they love doing or something, and personalise them to all the different family members. Or there's so many different ways of using these, and they're just such well, this one in particular, making it four-sided, it's such a unique kind of design that I think it just looks really cool. And I love that you can do that with so many of Tonic dies. You can change how many sides something has. Like I reckon you could probably make an octagonal hot air balloon if you wanted to, and obviously you'd have to make your own base for it, and you'd have to make your own little octagon bit here, unless you have a nesting octagon die that has the same side, same length side as these, or the same length side as this, to create your base. But I'm sure it's definitely doable with a little bit of fiddling around to try and make everything work together. It's definitely a doable idea, just like making this one into a four-sided one as well. So yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this up-close video. I hope you enjoyed seeing the two different kind of versions of the hot air balloon, whether you just want to do it as the gift box or whether you want to have it with a hanging basket on there as well. And I hope you enjoyed seeing the actual decanter earlier, and then also how you can turn it into a smaller decanter as well if you want to. And don't forget, there's 2 construction videos on both of these as well. And if you're interested in getting hold of this month's showcase, there will be affiliate links linked below the video for you to go and follow as well. And I might try and link the colours of cardstock and stuff that I've used. I think I said all of the colours in my construction video, if I can remember them again. I think it was grass green, marigold, chili, fuchsia, amethyst and cornflower. I think they're the colours of the Texture Craft Perfect card, and this was champagne, the colour of this one. And then I've used the Tonic Nouveau gems to decorate the golden ovals and the cherry hearts, and then I've used some of their gold mirror card on here as well. And also the ink pad I used to stamp was the acorn brown, large brown ink pad from Nouveau as well. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this up-close video. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for watching the construction videos if you go and watch them as well. And I will see you again in the next video. Bye!